Alright, so I gotta jump on here not just to quickly review this movie, but to defend it. I've been seeing so many YouTubers and critics absolutely shitting on this movie, but in my opinion, I thought this was a really solid horror film. And that's saying something, because during the viewing of this film, I had the worst cinema experience of my life. There was these two fucking teenagers behind us that would not shut the fuck up the entire movie, literally having conversations like they're out at a bar or something. But putting that aside, I still really enjoyed this movie. So I'll be honest, when I first saw the trailer, I really thought this was going to be boring and not have much substance to it. And the first 10-20 minutes of the film, they were walking you through like who these characters are, reminding you who they are, what happened. And if you've seen the films, you already know this. So that was a waste of 20 minutes. And the slow start, it really worried me. But as the film went on, man, like, for me, this was a super solid horror. I really thought they were going to rely on cheap jump scares. They did once, but there was only 2 or 3 jump scares in here. And one of them, I genuinely shat myself. But for a horror film, like, the story, people are saying that the story was so boring and they really just hammered the point home and explored the same thing for 70 odd minutes. But I thought they did do that, but they did it so well. They're playing on your emotions with the relationship between, forget his name, the father and the son, over what happened in Insidious 2, I think it was, when he went full Jack Nicholson on them.
Here's Johnny!
There was another little relationship in the film that were really getting your emotions going with the son who's in college and this girl he meets. And at the start, they really tried to be comedic and I really didn't like it. The first time they cracked the joke, I was like, please do not go down this direction. But the more they interacted with each other, the more I really started to like the relationship and the comedic little undertones that it brought to this film. I think it really worked. You don't really see comedy like this in horror films. And it wasn't like comedy to try and make you, you know, just piss yourself laughing. It was just general dialogue that would actually happen if these two met in college and became good friends like they did. So I definitely believed it. And I really liked it. The way they explore this red door premise, it seems really basic and like it's going to have no substance, but the way they tie in the door and the way the door gets sealed, the way the door gets opened, I just thought it was like, yes, it was sort of basic, but the way they explore it, I was on the edge of my seat the entire film. I was never bored apart from the first 10-20 minutes. I just think they did such a good job. And again, the way the relationship between the father and the son concludes in this, like, obviously it's going to be a happy ending, but the way it gets there, I just thought this was a really solid story horror film. It didn't go for over-the-top fucking looking demons and shit, over-the-top jump scares. They just stuck to the story and the premise and didn't rely on jump scares and shit like other Insidious films. It had comedy in it, which other Insidious films don't have, from memory anyway, but they must have felt like they needed to change it up because their formula was getting too boring. And people think that this formula was boring, but I really dug it, especially if you're going to tell a story, if you're going to explore characters, if you're really going to drive your plot home, I think the way they did it in this film was just awesome. And again, that's saying something because the two fuckers behind me, they would not shut the fuck up the entire film. And for me to still enjoy this as much as I did, it's definitely saying something. So it's not a perfect horror. I'm not going to say that it's a perfect film. There is a lot more horrors that I can think of that are way better than this. But this doesn't deserve the hate it's getting. I really think this is a solid horror.
And going into this movie, I had absolutely no idea that Patrick Wilson, obviously starring in it, also directed this film. I have no idea if this is his first go at directing. If it was his first, if it was his third, fourth, I think he did an amazing job.
Watching the trailer, I was really worried, but it surprised me, and I left the theater really happy, apart from the two dickheads behind me. But I'm going to give this film a solid 8 out of 10. Maybe I need to watch this film again and my score's going to change and my thoughts are going to change. Like every film you do when you watch it a second time, your opinions are obviously going to change a little bit. But for me, first time viewing, worst theater experience of my life, I still loved it. So that's my review of this film. If you think I'm fucking crazy, let me know. Let me know your thoughts on the film, and thanks always for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.